And good morning. Talk about a little glitch. Couldn't log on to my live this morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Well, we've got a few technical glitches today. I hope I'm going live. Keeps coming in and out. Took me ages to get on. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep going and we'll see how we go. All right. Diane, you're there. Good morning. I've had to reboot my computer twice, or my camera twice. How is everybody this morning? I hope you've had a... Oh, thanks, Diane. I hope you've had a beautiful... Good morning, Margaret. I hope you've had a restful day yesterday. It was raining here all day on the Gold Coast. I said a few showers in the morning, but it ended up raining all day, which is... I don't know. I don't think anybody quite knows what's going on right now. Just quietly. Yeah, so here we are. What day is it today? Easter Saturday. Easter Saturday, very different Easter Saturday. We went for a big long walk yesterday and in our usual park, and there was nobody there. It's really sad. I just think it's really sad. Anyway, the sooner we just all do this, the sooner we get back to normal. Get back to normal. I have great belief in the human spirit, and I've got great belief in humanity, and I believe that there's something good's going to come out of this. Let's hope. Today we're going to talk about our isolation trigger foods. So let me know if you... Morning, Michelle. Let me know if you are experiencing, some sort of different ways of doing things at the moment. Interestingly enough, as I was preparing this event for today, I noticed that I'm wanting... You hardly had any rain at Merrimack. Well, isn't that interesting? Yeah, it rained here all day on Southport, Michelle. Yeah, apples. Apples. I've been wanting apples, and it's warm toasties, Diane. Interesting. We're going to explain a little bit all that in a minute, because what I got to the bottom of what the apples were all about. That was really interesting. The thing that I love about this one, understanding your isolation food triggers, is what's happening. I'm finding deeper stuff. Like I'm finding things that I perhaps had not thought about or haven't dealt with, and when you're very aware of how you're being triggered at the moment, I'm noticing this week I'm starting to get a bit, I don't want to use the word angry, but that's probably the best way to try. I'm getting a bit agitated and angry about this because I'm seeing sort of two sides to everything at the moment. And it sort of was triggered with the whole George Pell thing during the week, and then it's happening again where I'm starting to get a bit cranky. let's put it mildly, getting a bit cranky old lady. And so where your emotions are going to start to, whatever you're feeling is going to start to show in other ways. You might feel that you're getting maybe snappy with people. You might be sad. You might, and I tend to see it in food choices. That's how I see it for me. So I want to first share, for those of you who listen to Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, and many of those who are in the health and nutrition fields, they're talking all the time at the moment about some things that you should be implementing into your diet to keep your immune system up. Number one, which is really interesting, is zinc. Now, yesterday I was doing some research into zinc. It keeps coming up. So vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Zinc keeps coming up all the time. And when you're listening to these biomed doctors and some of the other guys, and the reason, I found a couple of studies which were really interesting, and it's that zinc has been associated with widespread defects in both adaptive and innate immune response. So zinc keeps your immune system up. But there was another study I found, and this was in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences, and it said the quote was, community zinc supplementation studies in children have demonstrated a substantial and statistical significant reduction in the prevalence of pneumonia in developing countries, which I thought was really interesting. So it's kind of a time at this moment to look at, okay, how can I make sure that I'm I'm eating plenty of foods with all these things. I'm a great believer in number 1, nutrition, number 2, supplementation, if you can't kind of get that. But it was lovely, you know, because especially at Easter time with all the prawns around, one of the ways to increase your zinc is shellfish. So shellfish, oysters for those who love oysters, seeds, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds or sesame seeds, pine nuts, peanuts, cashews and almonds, and, drum roll, dark chocolate. Yes, hallelujah. So looking at those, so ways that you can increase your zinc supplementation, vitamin C foods. So my husband was really thrilled when I found out, do you know Brussels sprouts have vitamin C in them? I'm still not going to eat them. I don't like Brussels sprouts. He loves them. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, oranges, red and yellow capsicum, sweet potato, tomatoes, strawberries. So those are the types of things with vitamin C in them. And vitamin D, if you can't get out in the sun every day for at least 20 minutes, just get out walking in the sun or sitting in the sun. Fatty fish like tuna, mackerel, salmon, beef liver. I used to like that, but I don't like it anymore. And egg yolks, all good for vitamin D. So those are sort of some of the things that if you can really do your own research on this. Zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, eating foods that are rich in those nutrients. And if you need supplementation, talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about. But here's what's really interesting. The things that fight against the body's own immune system is inflammation. And inflammatory foods are found in things like trans fats, which we see in a lot of processed foods, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and things like, chips and that type of thing. High in trans fats, breads, pastries, anything with lots of sugary foods. So that creates inflammation in the body. Now, this is where I found this really interesting. We walked over to we got a local shopping centre last Sunday. I wanted to make some dark caramel slice. And so we walked over to get some cacao at the health food store. But where we walk, we have to walk through the food court. So the entrance, you go through the food court to the shops. Every single store in that food court was closed except 2, McDonald's and KFC. They were the only 2 takeaway fast food stores that were open. Everything else was closed. And when you look at what's in those foods, those trans fats, that's causing inflammation in the body, which is of course going to impact on your immune system. So be very mindful. We're going to get into the reasons we choose other foods in a minute, but I just wanted to just precipice that, or start with that first, is that making sure you're eating well right now. The other thing, of course, that influences your immune system is stress and fear. And we'll do it, we're going to do a tapping session at the end of this, all about this, but really important that you keep your stress levels down now. Catch when you're falling into fear or uncertainty. Remember that that's not good for your immune system. Dr. Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton all are talking about this right now. The biggest challenge we're facing is stress and fear that influences the immune system. So it's really critical that you are doing those steps. So meditation, EFT, some exercise if you can get out in the sun, 20 minutes walk. Things like I'm doing push-ups and yoga moves at home. So all that type of stuff, really, really important right now to keep your immune system high. The other thing about stress, of course, and all this other inflammatory foods, is that it impacts on the telomeres. And the telomeres are the little caps that sit on the end of our genes that cause aging. So if you're stuck in kind of stress and fear, just be mindful, it's also making you age. We don't want that. And this is all over. We want to be vibrant and young, getting out to do everything that we can. So that's what I just wanted to quickly talk about that before we move into what the real topic is. What are your trigger foods trying to tell you? So as Diane said before, there's things like she wants warm toasties. So just let me know if there's sort of some foods that you're particularly reaching for at the moment. You're noticing more that you're reaching for as kind of, I don't like to use the word comfort or emotional foods. It's like I really need, I really want, or you sort of walking into the pantry and standing there with the door open looking for something, or the fridge, you're looking for something that's going to satisfy that urge or need. So I'm going to go through the types of foods, but I just wanted to say too, as we go on, is that to not ignore those food cravings. If you try and ignore them, you're not listening to what your body is trying to tell you. So the body will always tell you what it needs to satisfy the emotion or the feeling, and will tell you what it needs to satisfy the nutritional need, but those two can get really confused. So when you kind of going through this is to become very mindful. That's what intuitive eating is. Intuitive eating is being mindful of the messages your body's sending and trying to separate all the time the emotional and the physical desire. Yeah, any warm food, Diane, and it's cold in Melbourne too, right? Been pretty yucky in Melbourne, I hear. Like we had a Zoom call Thursday night, a family Zoom call. I'm sitting in my summer dress. My brother's in Perth sitting in a t-shirt sitting outside, and my three sisters were all rugged up with scarves, and yeah, it's an incredible country we live in. All right, so when you have a craving, the worst thing, as I said before, is to try and ignore it. Rather, get to the bottom of it. I'm going to go through the 4 things that, in my experience, people tend to reach for to satisfy certain cravings, emotional needs. Yeah, right. 13 degrees, Diane. 13. Well, it's going to be 29 here today, and I've got the aircon, and I'm still hot. I'm getting a bit over that, Anyway, all right. Let's look at the different types of foods that we tend to reach for. As I said, there are 4. I used to say 3, but now I've found there's a 4th one that people tend to go, and the reason why. Okay, here we go. So number 1 is crunchy foods like chips, crackers, crunchy chocolate like honeycomb, or like a violet crumble, or Kit Kats, or anything with a crunch and a bit of sweetness. And that crunch often represents you holding yourself back from saying how you really feel, speaking your truth. If perhaps right now you're feeling frustrated and angry and you don't kind of know how to express it, you might be trying to hold it together for the whole family, and you're holding it all in. As I said, I was feeling this kind of apples. I wanted apples. Oh my God, I can't get enough of them at the moment. And then I recognized what it is. It's that crunching down on the sweetness that I was doing, that I was using. Okay, so I'm looking to deal with this frustration. I deal with the frustration by chomping down. Now, what it does, it gets trapped in the throat. So our truth, when we can't express it, we get trapped in our throat. So the crunchy food alleviates that. It takes away that, I'm going to kill somebody, or I'm going to scream, I'm going to shout. You just by biting down on it. So look at that. So that's first one, crunchy foods. The second one is things like bread, pasta, rice, gooey kind of, croissant or muffins or any of that, is often looking for a time when times were simpler and safer. So, I don't know if you grew up the same as I did, but bread was staple in our family. There was sandwich, we toast for breakfast, sandwiches. Mum used to make sandwiches. My mother made the best egg and lettuce sandwiches, let me tell you. Sandwiches, fancy we used to go egg and lettuce sandwiches, and we didn't even put them in a cold thing, and somehow they survived. We all lived. Funny that. Just after we went in our wax paper. They smelled terrible. They tasted great. And so it's whenever you're feeling slightly overwhelmed, and you just think, I just want simpler, happier times. That's bread. So the bread pasta is another one. You just want something that's easy to eat. I don't have to think about it. It's right there and it's simple. I'm overwhelmed. Number 3, now remember I've just found a fourth one, but this is coming up a lot with a number of clients at the moment. Number 4 is the chocolate. Number 3, sorry, is chocolate. It's the smooth and creamy chocolate. So things like caramello, chocolate ice cream, what else? Chocolate, caramello, or even just sort of just a Cadbury block, Easter eggs, Easter egg chocolate. Anything that doesn't require a lot of eating, that's smooth, and that is often when you're looking for love. You need the love. It's like, I don't want to adult anymore. This is too hard. I want something smooth and creamy to wrap me in love. I just want that smooth, and it's too hard. I don't want to do this anymore. So that's what that chocolate represents. So if those are the first 3. So first 3 were the chips, crackers, crunchy chocolate like honeycomb. Where there's little bit less chocolate, more like violet crumble. Could be things like chocolate with nuts in it too. Bread and pasta, chocolate, creamy and smooth, and that sort of smooth. And then the fourth one, and this is the one that's come up a lot in the last little while, and I didn't kind of connect this one until I was reading an article about inflammatory foods, and I came across some study somewhere. But anyway, cheese, interesting enough, is the number 4, that often people reach for cheese. And cheese contains an amino acid called tryosine, 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 that when broken down in our bodies makes us feel content. Interesting. The fats in cheese also encourage our brains to produce dopamine, the natural feel-good chemical in our brain's reward centers. So if you're somebody that loves cheese, and I used to love cheese before I figured out it wasn't very good for me, that was a sad day. It was a really sad day. Cheese, it's looking for trying to feel content. And isn't this interesting? I'm seeing a lot of people posting that they're looking for things like macaroni and cheese, like that gentle kind of cheese that makes you feel content, pasta that makes you think simpler times. So all those foods actually hold a gift. Now, I don't, and I want to be very, very specific here, I don't believe in not having them, because intuitively, if that's what your body is telling you to have, then by all means eat it. The thing is, when it gets to the point where it is, agreed, Diane. The thing is, when it gets to the point where it is, you're eating it because, and you can't stop, right? So when I first did this very first tapping on food, I couldn't think for the life of me think what to tap on, because I eat pretty healthy, and then I thought, what's the food that once you start you can't stop? And for me, it was twisties. Believe it or not, twisties. And I hadn't eaten them for years. And so we did this tapping, and took me straight back to my birthday party when I was about, I think my sister was maybe 2. So it must have been my 4th or my 5th birthday party. And my mother never bought junk food. Never, ever, ever. We don't, my mum was really good when it came to nutrition. She never bought junk food. Sometimes we had things like that. Ice cream and jelly we got for birthdays, and twisties for birthdays. And it took me back to, I think, my 5th birthday, and Mum put the twisties in the bowl, and she said, go around and share with everybody the twisties. And by the time I got back to me, there were none left. So the eating, once I open a pack of twisties, I can't stop. So that eating was about, well, there's nothing left for me. I've got to get in first because there'll be nothing left for me. I always miss out, all that stuff. So in understanding that, I was able to release that trigger to the twisties. So if somebody has them, I can have a couple and I can walk away from it. But it's not about, and I think at this time, really important that you're actually being very mindful of those emotions, because you can't run away from them. Right? There's nowhere to go. So what I found this week when I tapped around that whole thing with George Pell was a really significant trigger for me. And if you saw the video I did in the Facebook group here, it was the times in my life when people have gotten away with things, have done something wrong and they've gotten away from it. I was really triggered by that. And so that was wonderful to be able to clear that. And I probably wouldn't have found that if that hadn't happened. So the same thing is with the food. If you're reaching for certain foods, instead of trying to deny them, trying to ask yourself, what's really going on for me right now? What does my body really, really need right now? What's going on? And to step back from that. Now, in the lighter program, we actually do a tapping on asking your body what it really needs. I now allow myself to eat anything I want. What does my body really need? And the two words, what do I want? What do I need? Two things. I now allow myself to have anything I want. Really powerful. Allow and want. What does my body really need? And then get really into that emotion. Okay, what does my body really need? Well, it actually probably doesn't need a whole bag of twisties. But what am I needing? What am I needing? And I'm going to honor these choices. You want to try and separate the emotional need from the physiological need. Because for many of us who have struggled with weight or been on diets in our life, food is our drug of choice. That's what we've used in the past to numb the emotion. And so at this time, when you're starting to get these untoward feelings, it's go to it. Go to it. What is it? What do I really, really, really want? What's going on for me? And you may find you'll find triggers you have not thought of before. So let me know if this is making sense for you guys. Let me know if this is kind of going, I get it. I know now why I wanted that whole block of chocolate the other night. So when you figure that out, it's then putting those things into a plan that can stop it before it happens. So I'm really, really strict with myself at the moment about what I watch on social media. I'm watching videos that I know are going to elevate and inspire me. I am staying away. I don't care. I don't want to know how many people in New York. I don't want to know that. That's New York's role to deal with. In my world, the people that matter to me are in my circle of influence. Okay, the circle is Jerry and myself and my kids and my friends. They are the people, and my clients. They are the people I have a circle. They are the people that I am doing my inner work for and for myself. But I'm not going to get caught up. Now, I have a daughter in media, so I do know what's actually going on in media right now. So be very careful of what you're watching. Get under the headline if you do want to watch. Get under the headline. Don't take any notice of the headline. Read what they're saying. Really important, because that low-grade anxiety lifts, right? So your stress levels go up, inflammation is caused, impacts on your telomeres, going to age you, going to reduce your immune system, and you're going to feel shitty. So it's like, just right now, you are in a cocoon. In the outside world, there's nothing you can do. You can look after you. That's what you can do, and we're beginning. And I said on my radio shows this week, we're given this gift of time at the moment. We mentioned it last week. Gift of time, gift of time. Think to yourself, I've got this gift of time. I'm going to work on myself. And then look, if it means you're going to hang around in your tracksuit pants all day, so be it. But it's also an opportunity to get really deep. What's really going on for me? Okay, why am I being triggered? We are the wise women, and looking after ourselves is really, really important. And you know what? When you take control of your health, you put in the steps in, honestly, it feels really empowering. I'm eating really well. And I said to a friend of mine this week, I'm feeling stronger and more energetic than I felt in a long time, because I'm working out twice a day, because I'm walking in the mornings and doing my workout, and I'm walking in the afternoon with Jerry, and we're eating well. We're very particular about what we're buying and what we've got in the house, and can't just run down to the store or go down to anywhere, or somebody's saving money on coffee, by the way, instead of how many? He was going to a coffee shop probably twice a day sometimes with meetings. Amazing what you'll save, right? So let me know. Makes perfect sense, Angela. That's great. Thank you. Yes, agreed. Great term to learn the distinction between what we can and cannot control. Yeah, Angela, absolutely. We have to do that. It's going to mess with our heads. If you're watching that media all the time, it is going to mess with your head. Think about it. Low-grade anxiety, going to impact on my telomeres, going to impact on my immune system. Don't do it. Don't do it. Watch something funny every day. Watch something funny. I'm posting stuff on my Facebook page that's inspiring and funny, and I'm not going to buy into all the stuff. I just want to do the right thing, come home, do the best I can for the people of my influence, and care for myself. Lots of meditation, lots of walking, and you are in control of your circle of influence, not the circle of concern. We can be concerned, but be careful of what you read. Just really be careful of what you read, because it sits in that subconscious. Right, who's up for a tapping session? So we do a tapping session? Yeah, look, it's 8 o'clock. Why not? I say. You like a tapping session? And let's do one on honouring my body. Anybody up for that? Just send me a heart or a agree. Dad jokes, stand-up comedy on YouTube. Oh, yay. Thanks, Angela. Dad jokes. I love dad jokes. Yes, because laughter increases your immune system and makes your face look nicer. Quietly? No. Makes your face look nicer. Yes. All right, let's do one on honouring the body. Thank you, everybody, for your... All right. Let's do it this way. On a scale of 1 to 10, just measure if there's any low-grade anxiety at the moment. I know all of you on this call are very positive thinkers. I know that. But I want you to just quietly ask yourself, am I experiencing any low-grade anxiety? Oh, I just got a little in my stomach. It's just something that maybe you're going, I choose not to do that, but there's a little bit of low-grade anxiety. And then we're going to reframe that in honouring the body, okay? And we're going to do the full tapping today. Let's do the full tapping. I'm assuming you've all washed your hands. Okay. All right, here we go. Tap with me. Even though I do feel some low-grade anxiety, it's because everything feels just so unsure. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though I really believe in myself and I know I'm a positive person, the uncertainty is just making me feel a little bit anxious. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Even though maybe my food choices are reflecting what's going on for me. And sometimes they're not so good. I deeply and completely accept myself and how I feel. Okay, tapping. This low-grade anxiety. Everything feels just a little bit uncertain. I'm missing contact with friends and family. And it just feels a little bit uncertain. And I'm tending to reach for foods to try and stop that anxiety. This low-grade anxiety. This uncertainty. Not quite knowing what's going to happen. Sometimes I reach for foods that don't necessarily do me good. This low-grade anxiety. What's really going on for me? This low-grade anxiety. All this uncertainty. This low-grade anxiety. Trying my best to be positive, but it feels a little bit uncertain. Okay, just take a deep breath. Now, you know with EFT, right, we need to get to specifics. So that's just a general EFT tapping. But if anything came up, any memories, you want to look to the memories, right? In the amygdala, hanging on to all those childhood memories of times that felt uncertain, or you were out of control, or somebody was, as in my case, somebody was doing something, got away with it. See if you can find all of those. Just be very mindful, like you're kind of opening up that subconscious to say, look, what's really going on for me? What's a memory? Times I didn't feel safe. Times I felt uncertain. That time when. That's what we're looking for, right? That time when. All right, let's do a reframe round. Okay. Let me just get grounded here. Even though this is a time of uncertainty, I choose to love and honour my body. Even though this low-grade anxiety is perfectly normal, I choose to honour the messages my body sends without judgment. Even though I'm trying my best to be as positive as I can, there are some times when it gets a bit hard. I choose to love and honour myself and my body. Tapping. I choose to honour the messages my body sends. I choose to acknowledge this is tough. But I choose to honour my body. I choose to honour my immune system. I thank my body for supporting me so well. I'm so grateful to have the knowledge to deal with this. I choose to honour my body. I choose to honour the messages without judgment. I choose to stay attuned to those messages. I am wise and I am strong. I am here at this moment in time to make a difference. I choose to honour the messages my body sends. I choose to believe in myself. I trust that I will be okay. I am here at the right place at the right time to make a difference. I choose to honour my body and the messages it sends. Just take a deep breath and let it go. Wow. I hope that helped this morning, and I hope that you stay focused and connected. This is a challenging time for many of us, but it is also a time of opportunity for the wise woman. And that's what we are, the wise woman. That's what we're here. So when you see yourself or feel yourself falling into fear, stress, just pull back out of it. Thank you for the hearts. Just pull back out of it and just, I am here. I know what to do. I am here at the right time. I have knowledge at my fingertips. Imagine if you were going through this in 1945 or, you know, the Spanish flu. We have the knowledge. Draw on that knowledge. I hope that's helped. Send me a message if is there any way I can help you during this time, and we shall get through this. We shall overcome. It's like, I feel like singing that hymn. We shall overcome. You're welcome, Angela. You're welcome. You're welcome. And you're welcome, Pauline. Have a wonderful whatever Easter. Oh, Diane, memories of riding a bicycle on a rocky road feeling apprehensive. Ooh, nice. Ooh, I like that. But it led us to new places. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for being on. Thanks, Michelle. Lovely to be on. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, everybody. Beautiful Easter, whatever you're doing, and happy Easter. And I hope you're able to Zoom your family and friends tomorrow as we're doing. Remember that Easter is a time for rebirth, right? So use this time. And have a wonderful Easter, everyone. My love from my family to yours. And I will talk to you during the week. Bye for now.